If you are thinking of moving to the Phoenix Valley, you might want to hit pause for just a moment. I'm going to share 7 things with you that you need to be able to handle before making that move. And if you can't, this might not be the place for you. We're going to start off with the number one thing everyone's talking about, and that is the cost of living. And then we'll get to housing prices, but the cost of living, what's it like really? Like really? In the Phoenix area. Coming in with number 1, this is the most important thing. This even trumps housing prices. What is the cost of living? How much is everything else going to cost me living in the Phoenix area? Well, the number 1 thing most people are asking about is utilities. I think that's a conversation that everyone has. How much is your AC in the summer? Well, here's the thing. It depends on where you live. And of course, it depends on how big your home is, 1 story, 2 story, which way it's facing. Even people don't realize that. Most homes here in the greater Phoenix area are built with the majority of the windows in the backyard. If your backyard is facing west, you're going to have higher utilities. People don't realize that. Also, having a hot garage, that's no fun either. Here's the thing, guys. It's very regional. You can't just say Phoenix, but I am going to say this. My electric bill was $199 a month in 2024, okay? And it seemed like for several years prior to that. And it went up in 2025 to $249 a month. So that's a pretty big, significant increase. Here's the thing. I pay the same amount of money every single month. And that way I'm not like shocked and like cringing in the summertime when I have to pay these higher rates. So you can either indulge in the wintertime, like you only have like maybe a $50 or $100 utility bill, but then you're going to have your 5 or 6 or bigger utility bills. Solar is not a guarantee here. I have to tell you that it is an unregulated industry, and picking up someone else's contract, whether it's being paid for or if it's even being paid off, do you have the right panels? Are they facing the right way? They probably don't have a battery. Like there's a lot of variables. So don't think that's an easy answer. This is, again, we'll pick this apart with you if you just give us a call. This is part of the conversation we can have initially, but also more importantly, when you are shopping for the home. We vet the homes before you even go and look at them, whether it's new or resale. There's a lot of variables that go into this. Now, as far as the utility bill, also, even if you took my exact home that I live in Chandler and I plopped it over in Goodyear, would it be the exact same? You know why? Because Goodyear is a different electric company than what we have in the East Valley. There's 2 different companies here, APS and SRP, doesn't matter what they stand for. But just in the last year, APS has raised their rates 8%, whereas in SRP, which is mostly the East Valley, is only 2.5%. So again, if this is something really important to you, and it should be, let's have a one-on-one conversation. Homeowners insurance has gone up. My homeowners insurance went up about $250 with no claims. Nothing changed. I didn't increase my coverage. I didn't decrease my coverage. I have new everything. It's just the industry. So it sucks when yours goes up for no apparent reason. And that is just happening nationally, but it is happening here. And we also have property taxes. Now, property taxes here in Arizona are some of the lowest in the entire country, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to go up. So if that's important to you, give us a call, because property taxes are assessed, even though Maricopa County and Pinal County have their basic numbers. There are different bonds and initiatives that are in each of the different cities that may impact the property taxes. And there are some areas in the greater Phoenix area that have CFDs, that stands for Community Facilities District. Sorry, I'm just rambling on, but there's so many things to talk about when we talk about cost of living. It's hard to put it in a video even under an hour, and this isn't an hour. My point is you've got to give us a call, because we want to have these conversations. If you live in a floodplain zone, you are going to have flood insurance. That also went up. If you live in an HOA, oh yeah, that's going to go up too. In fact, if you're looking for a newer home built in the 90s or newer, you're going to be looking at an HOA. Some of the HOAs are pretty significant, and I've found mistakes on Redfin and Zillow when sometimes it says there's no HOA, and there is. So there's a lot of different things that we have seen increases on. If you listen to some Phoenix news, it's just going to say that we have had some of the lowest inflation over the last year. Well, that's great, but that doesn't mean that we haven't had price increases. Restaurants are more expensive. Gasoline, I don't know, that goes up and down, right? Windshield replacements, that's gone up. I feel like that's across the country. Getting my nails done, they used to be 40, now they're 45. It's like little incremental. Now I can get eggs for $5 a dozen, and actually less if I go out to the farms. And we do have a lot of farms in the Southeast Valley, not throughout the greater Phoenix area. Again, each part of the greater Phoenix area has something different, and it is different. If you're looking for green and trees and shade, which is not in abundance here in the greater Phoenix area, most of those areas are in the Southeast Valley, although we have some secret hotspots on the West Valley you might be very interested in. Here's the thing, guys. When you're looking at the homes on Zillow and Redfin, or you ask someone to send you MLS listings, you have no idea what the area looks like. That's why you got to give us a call. Start here with us. We want to be your resource for resources. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or you can click on this little QR code here to get to our website. We want to be your point of contact when you're thinking of moving to the greater Phoenix area, even if it's next year. It's never too, well, it can be too early to plan, like if it's in like 3 or 5 years. But if you're thinking of moving in the next 12 to 18 months, it's not too early to give us a call. And there are so many cost of living conversations that we can have. Everything from what is the price of bread to what is the milk. If you have a child, what's childcare like? Again, there's a lot of things that we need to talk about, and you just got to give us a call. Okay, number 2, let's talk about housing. It's not cheap anymore here in the Phoenix area. And we're going to talk about jobs and income in a moment, but you will need to make over $90,000 a year to buy a single family home in just about anywhere in the greater Phoenix area. Now that can be combined or individual. Our median price is about $450,000 at the time of this video, and that's not affordable to a lot of people with interest rates the way they are. Now, we do have 3 different markets, so we're going to talk a little bit about each of them because I think they're all very different. The very first one is going to be luxury. Luxury market. The day of buying $1 million home and it being luxury is a thing of the past in the greater Phoenix area. Now, I'm not just talking about Scottsdale. Scottsdale is like our Beverly Hills. And Paradise Valley is kind of like Calabasas, where the Kardashians live. So we do have that kind of uber luxury, but I'm just talking about, we've had so many calls, people from the Pacific Northwest, and they think, $1 or even $1.5 million is going to get them this newer luxury mountain view home. It doesn't matter what city it's in. That is a thing of the past. There are some areas that, if that's what you're looking for, that have better opportunities to get in at or close to those prices, but that's why you got to give us a call. So that's the luxury market. Now, the retirement community, and again, these buyers are going to be people that are super Wall Street sensitive, interest rate sensitive, and making sure that they're making a right decision. The market today, the 55 plus communities, which by the way, I'd like to just add 55 plus means that's the minimum age. The vast majority of people that live in these retirement communities, the average ages are usually closer to 70 or 80 years old. So again, it is a true retirement community. It's a different lifestyle. But because of some of the strain in this part of the market, there has been some substantial price declines. You can get some new construction in the 300s and an older, smaller home in the high 200s. If this is what you're looking for, we have a senior specialist on our team. We'd love to hear from you. So I do think there are some opportunities for people that do have cash. But again, with those interest rates, it makes everything untouchable literally across the country. Now, the general population area, this is where the majority of the people kind of fit in. And as I mentioned, $1 million doesn't get you very much. If you are looking for a 2,000 square foot home, maybe 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and a swimming pool, you're going to be spending in the higher demand areas like Chandler, Gilbert, parts of Goodyear, Verrado, Peoria, Vistancia, these are going to be in the $600,000 to $700,000 price range. Now, we are seeing some declines in those areas. I wouldn't say decline, really what it is. By the way, when you look at everything on Redfin and Zillow and you see all these price declines, we have seen more homes delist in 2025 than we've seen in like 13 years. A lot of sellers that have just gone cuckoo. We're here to represent the buyers. And what I was going to say, that doesn't really tell you what the market is. But especially if you're a cash buyer, we can get you some great deals. But that doesn't mean we have distress or panic sellers right now. We are not seeing an increase in, not a tremendous increase in foreclosures and short sales. Here's the thing, guys. When you only had 30 this month last year and you have 90, yes, it's 300%, but it's still only 90, right? So if you are looking for a starter home, I think this is really where the majority of the people really need to remember. If this is your first time buying even in Arizona, if you're moving here from another place, being able to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, almost any city, including Chandler, Gilbert, parts of the higher desirable Phoenix area like Desert Ridge, you can get these homes in the $400,000 price range, even in Estrella Mountain Ranch in Goodyear. We are seeing homes listed. There's not a lot of them, and the nice ones, you're gonna have to jump at it. But here's the thing, guys. We know the entire valley like the back of our hands. This is what we do, relocation, and we specialize in the deep dive research. You just got to give us a call. There are opportunities for buyers throughout the Phoenix area. I do think that this is a window that will not always be here. So you got to give us a call to get the best deal today. All right, number 3, what's the jobs like in the Phoenix area? Well, it depends on what the industry is. If you are in super high tech, we do have a lot of new tech jobs, and we do have a lot of semiconductor, but there's kind of a waiting what's going on right now. We're actually seeing, well, that's the entire country, right? But I hate talking bad about Phoenix. Can you tell that? It's so hard, but I'm trying to be super, super honest with you. If you're in the tech industry, it's a little difficult. People are asking, how do you get into these companies? It's just that nobody is hiring right now. All right. So at the time of this video, it's not very plentiful. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Intel is talking about selling off one of their fabs to NVIDIA, which is great that we're going to have NVIDIA here in the market. Taiwan Semiconductor, if you didn't know, and that is just exploding in the northwest part of the greater Phoenix area. But the majority of the people that have already been employed there have been brought in. That's not locals. Also, LG Energy, which is in Queen Creek, that's also another technology battery. That's a huge space here in Arizona. That is also delayed. We've seen some projects actually pulled, off the drawing boards. So if you were thinking of moving to Phoenix here, definitely do your research on jobs. Depending on the industry, if you are in healthcare, there's an abundance of jobs and they are paying very well. If you are in the construction industry, right now, it's actually kind of flat. Again, the builders are kind of holding back. We saw a decline of permits in the Phoenix area this whole year. So that means there's not going to be a lot of new construction next year, not as much as we saw in 2025, that they're kind of moving. So again, there's some opportunities coming up for buyers, but you just got to know when to be ready to jump on those opportunities. Jobs, I would say for the most part, you need to land a job before you get to Phoenix. Don't assume that you're going to find a job like that once you move here. And a lot of the companies that are here are offering relocation packages, and we are relocation certified. So even if you are offered a package, just let them know you already have a realtor. We can represent you and still get you all those incentives to making the move. I'm telling you guys, working with a relocation team is totally different than a regular realtor, and you just got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or just go here to this QR code, get in contact with us. Even if you're planning a year in advance, we want to talk to you, we want to set you up for success. This kind of stuff doesn't just happen overnight. Just give us a call. All right, number 4, we're going to be talking about traffic and our transportation and what is it like here. There's some good, but bad. Good if you own your own car and that you like to drive. We don't have toll bridges and we don't have a lot of places where you have to pay for parking. So that's the plus, lots of other negative. So number 1, very car reliant. If you don't have a car, it's going to be very difficult for you to get around the greater Phoenix Phoenix area. We are this massive urban sprawl. We just keep going out further and further and further. And our freeway systems have not kept up with the inbound migration that we have had over the last, I would say, even 10 years. I mean, it started before COVID, but it's been exponentially so since 2020. And we still are seeing a heavy inbound migration here because it is less expensive than coastal cities, but not as cheap as it once was, right? The freeways are kind of bursting at the seams, and that's why it's really important that you give us a call and we can have a conversation about where you're going to be working, where you're going to be going in for whatever your main source of income is. If you're working from home, then you have a lot of different choices. If you're going to be going into the VA hospital a lot, or you're going to be traveling to the Phoenix airport a lot, or whatever it might be, you need to give us a call so we could talk about, it's not just about the freeway systems. It looks like it's super close, first of all, and it's really not. Also, our surface streets, although we have an amazing grid system here in the Phoenix area, I don't want to say it's failed us. It's just that we're bursting at the seams. So although there's a lot of other ways that you can go, some of the areas are very isolated. They are making improvements. We have a couple of approvals that are going to make significant difference in the greater Phoenix area over the next 10 years. But you got to give us a call so we can talk about that, because if I throw out all the different areas and the freeways and the extensions and everything, you're just going to be like, yeah, I have no clue. So give us a call so we can start having these conversations. As far as also the car, let's talk about car insurance. Car insurance is a little bit more expensive here. I actually experienced that when I moved here in the 90s. So it has nothing to do with the population and the excessive traffic. I do believe it has everything to do with the proximity to the border. Also, different parts of the Phoenix area have different rates. I had a great conversation with my insurance agent just not too long ago when we were shopping around, and I encourage everybody to shop every single year. Yep, that's what I said, every single year. And she let me know that there's a higher rate in the West Valley than there is in parts of the East Valley. And I asked her why, and she said, it doesn't have anything to do with the population. There is an increase of accidents and also uninsured motorists in that area. So they look at where the claims have been filed, and then they kind of stick it to everybody that lives in that area. So again, if that's really important to you, it goes under that cost of living expense. But if you're going to be driving, you need a reliable vehicle. You want to know what our gas prices are compared to wherever you're from. At the time of this video, again, it doesn't, they're going up and down, right? Phoenix is typically on a national, when we compare the national average, Phoenix is typically a little bit higher. It's not as expensive as California, but it's higher than Oklahoma. So again, you have to take that into consideration. We also, although it's still 89 octane, I think it's 89 and 87, right? 87, it's still a different quality, 87 and 89, because it needs to burn. I am not a gasoline engineer, so or a petroleum engineer or whatever, but there are many times that Phoenix is even more expensive than the rural areas in our own state because there are less requirements in other parts of Arizona. So it's very regional. And also, again, the traffic, if you're going to have more wear and tear in your car, you're going to have more expense on tires, you're going to have more expensive, windshields, you're going to be doing at least once a year, honestly. And if you live out far and you're going through an area that has more pebbles and rocks and even dust, you're going to be seeing new windshields once a year, and that's going to be on your insurance. It's kind of it sucks. So traffic overall is not good. We do not have a public transportation system very, very well. We do have bus in, I call it the city. The main core of the greater Phoenix area is going to be the city of Phoenix, the city of Tempe, and parts of Mesa. We do see the bus system go out into some of the rural areas like Chandler and parts of Ahwatukee, but see, that's part of Phoenix too. So where there's more city is where you'll see the bus lines, but they are few and far between, and they don't run all night, of course. Light rail, it's moving along slow, guys. It is. Let me tell you, when I moved here, there was no light rail. We now, I don't even know how many miles of track we have, but it's not much. And so it's a very isolated population of people that can take advantage of the light rail system. If you live in parts of Mesa, Tempe, and you're trying to get to downtown Phoenix or the airport, that is where you're going to see the best usage of light rail. We're starting to see some of those light rail lines go north in central Phoenix. But again, this is not usually the areas that people are gravitating to when they are moving to the greater Phoenix area. This is not where the new construction is. Again, this is where city has city problems. We, the greater Phoenix area, collects an extra 0.5% tax, sales tax, in every single city in Maricopa County. That 0.5% goes towards our freeway systems, our transportation. But they, of course, have to break it down, and we just renewed that 0.5% tax. It has been in existence for 20 years. And the reason they did that is because otherwise we, the greater Phoenix area, would not have seen the freeway system, because the state only gets so much money and they wouldn't have let Phoenix just soak up all the funds. So this is how we raised our own money. And until 2020, we were really light on traffic, but now it's just gotten insane. Add a couple extra million people and it changes everything. God, who would have thunk? Anyways, the 0.5% that they just had to renew this last year almost didn't pass, because there was a small percentage of that budget that was supposed to be allocated towards a light rail, and the powers that be said, no, if this is in this allocation, we're not approving it. So that just kind of shows you how anti-public transportation and mass transit, I should say, you are going to see. Now, we will see a train coming in from Phoenix all the way to Tucson. That's going to change things, absolutely, but we're talking about a 10+ year period of time. I'm going to say even closer to 15 or 20. Here's the thing, guys. I got the skinny on all the freeways, which ones get congested at what time and what surface streets to take, and you just got to give us a call. I'm telling you, no one knows Phoenix the way we do. Give us a call, shoot us a text at this number. We also have an email for you, and we'll get back to you and schedule a Zoom meeting. We can't wait to talk about, because I'll tell you, from one end of the valley to the other is over 2 hours now. It used to be 2 hours, and they haven't grown up that big. Now it's 2.5. It's insane. That's why you got to pick the right area to begin with. All right, number 5. Are there enough things here in the greater Phoenix area, or should I say in the state of Arizona, that will keep you busy and deliver the lifestyle that you're used to? Here's the thing. On a positive side, there is an endless amount of things that you can do in the greater Phoenix area or in the state of Arizona. Don't forget we have the Grand Canyon here. If you are an outdoor enthusiast, you will have an endless list of things to attend to. You will have water. There are lakes, whether it's local here, Lake Pleasant, or you can head up north. There's a lot of smaller lakes. We even have a couple of other reservoirs. There is water activities. If you are a hunter, a biker, a hiker, a camper, a fisher, is that right? If you like jet skiing, if you like even snow skiing, we have it in Arizona. Here's the thing, guys, though. Depending on where you're coming from, do we have what you're used to or what you need and want? That is the question. We have a whole long list of everything else. We even have every major sport that you can imagine. And something that most people don't have on a regular basis, unless you're coming from Florida, is we have the Cactus League spring training. We have car shows. We have golf courses. We have golf course events. We have festivals, concerts, top rated. Culinary, no problem. However, again, if you're coming from Chicago and you're looking for Chicago pizza, they still haven't nailed it here. If you're coming from New York and you're looking for literally global cuisine, and I'm not saying just New York is the only one, but one thing I know is when I love visiting New York City is whether I want to go to Little Germantown, or if I want to go to, Middle Eastern, if I want to go to Chinatown, or if I want to go to Yemen type food. I mean, anything you want, you will get in New York City, and it's pretty much all night long. You can order Chinese takeout at 4 a.m. You're not going to get anything like that here in Phoenix. I'll tell you, my mother came into town. Her flight arrived at 7:45. I thought we could just pick up some to go on the way home about 8:30. Nothing was open. That's what I mean. Like, seriously, guys, early meals in the greater Phoenix area, and you don't have the diverse cultural type of food. It is getting better, and it depends on where you live. In the Southeast Valley, and again, I do cover the entire greater Phoenix area. I just want to mention that. The Southeast Valley is predominantly known for its Asian influence and Indian influence that we have had over the last 20 years. And this is because this is where the technology companies have been. And so there has been this demand, and all the different small businesses. That's another thing too. We do have a lot of small businesses, little mom and pop shops in the Southeast Valley. This is something that you're not going to find on the west part of the valley. So if this is really important to you, we had a family that was moving here, and their mother was from Korea, and she was really interested in attending some of the Asian activities. And then we even have a festival and there's a community center and things like that. But it just didn't meet her needs and wants. So she moved back to Korea to live with a different part of the family. So again, this is, a good conversation for us to have. Direct. We want to be your resource for resources. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We want to be able to answer all those questions. Some people might be like, oh yeah, sure, nope, we have Chinese restaurants. I'm like, yeah, but they don't mean just one Chinese restaurant. And then it's not what they were looking for. So again, if that is something that you're looking for, there you will see an abundance of it in the Southeast Valley. We are starting to see that happening and moving in. Taiwan and semiconductor has a huge influence in the northwest part of the valley. I actually belong to the Asian Association of Realtors, and we are seeing a lot of commercial that is making the commitment for luxury homes in the Northwest Valley, as well as restaurants and grocery stores and things like that, to again appeal to the people that are going to be coming from Taiwan and living, working in the Northwest Valley. So if these kind of things are really important to you, you got to give us a call and let us know. Another thing, here's the thing. I don't know what I don't know. You don't know what you don't know. I know a lot about the greater Phoenix area, but I know nothing about where you're coming from because I don't know you yet. That's why you got to give us a call. So we heard from some people that were coming in from South Dakota, actually. And I know I've actually been to South Dakota. My dog, Levi, got him in actually Deadwood, South Dakota. Needless to say, bicycling. That's a thing everywhere else. I feel like in the rest of the country, even in the snow country, that's what we call Wisconsin. Like in our mind, it's snowing there all the time, which is so not true. But there's a lot of seasonal activities that you have in other parts of the country that we just don't have here at all. If you are a bicycle rider and you're looking for like a 20, 30 mile ride on a paved road that's safe and not with vehicles, not going to find it here. Sorry. So if you want to know, ChatGPT has a lot of information, but I have even more. Give us a call. We'll definitely have those conversations. So do we have a lot of things? Just not everything. Okay, coming in at number 6, not that it's in any particular order, but item number 6 is going to be weather. Now, it's pretty obvious that we here in the greater Phoenix area are known for our high temperatures. And I'm not going to disagree with you. Let me tell you, this girl, I head out of town in July and August. If it's either out of state, California is only a 5-6 hour drive away, and I go hit the beach with my dog. I can go to Mexico with my friends. That's about a 4.5 hour drive, or only an hour and a half. I can get up to quite the elevation here in the Phoenix area. There are so many Airbnb and vacation rentals in the cooler country. But aside from escaping the heat, let's talk about what it's like to live here. So we don't have 4 seasons. We have honestly 2. We have spring and we have summer. Well, I guess we have 3: spring, summer, and fall. We don't have a winter. That's the benefit for many people. But if you are looking for snow or light snow or easy snow, you might have to go chase it. There are times in the Phoenix area, and I love to take my dog to the snow every single year. They only get to live, 9 to 13 years. My breed is actually a little bit longer, but so they only have 9 winters. You gotta make sure you take care of the fur babies too. The snow is too far north, or meaning it's over a 3-hour drive away. I don't mind going up, for an hour and a half drive away, but when it gets 3 hours, you have to go that far north. That's actually where we get most of our water from, by the way. We get most of it, it's a runoff from the snow up in northern Arizona. People are like, you have snow in Arizona? Yeah. We have a whole nother country, practically. It's not another country, but it's like a different country, not like another, it's not another continent. It is like we have huge pine trees, we have beautiful outdoor activities, we have fishing, we have skiing, like that's like another world. That's the right word. It's another world up in northern Arizona. If you're thinking about moving up there too, just let me know. We have affiliates in the northern Arizona parts. So back to the weather. So we don't have any torrential tropical storms. We are known for monsoons. We actually do a rain dance every 4th of July. We're hoping for the rain. Once upon a time, that's when our season started, but it doesn't really start now till August. I'll tell you, the first 2 weeks of August are the absolute worst. That's when you always want to go out of town or just live inside your home. Let me tell you, I went to a place just outside of Detroit. Gosh, what was it called? It was the cutest little town ever. And I went went for Thanksgiving. I've never seen so much snow in my life, and literally never left my friend's home for the entire 6 days, except for when we went into town for the parade, the turkey trot, whatever. There was so much snow. There you couldn't do anything. And let me tell you, my skin was, living in heat was terrible. I love the fact that we could put the beer in the ice and just go grab it outside. You didn't have to put it in the fridge. It's reverse here. Now, we do have dry weather. That's from outside, not from inside. So I don't know if that makes sense. So you're going to be using a lot of lip balm, a lot of hand lotion. You're going to be putting conditioner in your hair, because that dryness, though, if you don't live here, you're going to possibly have nosebleeds. You're going to have headaches. And there are some days where we have some pollution warnings. So you got to be careful about going outside on those days. Believe it or not, that's in the wintertime. We live in the valley. So we have mountains that go all the way around us. And so when we don't have any breeze, which is ironically in the wintertime, everything just kind of sits there and That's what I don't like about Los Angeles, because I feel like it's just got this thick haze in it all the time. We do get that more often than not. It's between Christmas and New Year's, and then like that first week of January, which is the only time we see freezes. So plants, I didn't even add that to a list, but can I just add that to here since I started talking about? If you are used to coming from an area where you love to garden and you love having all kinds of beautiful flowers, you're gonna have to get used to the flowers that bloom here. Just saying. Roses grow well. All right, guys. So the weather that we do have, we have the monsoons when they do come in. They don't last very long, maybe a couple of hours. And let me tell you, the next day, you can feel it's the humidity, because we're used to no humidity. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, what's this? And it's still not as high as what it is in like Ohio or Pennsylvania or Florida. But it gets to us. Anything over 30%, we're just like, oh, but it is clean. That's another thing. It's not on my list, but I'll tell you, Arizona, Phoenix is so new. The freeways are even clean. It is unbelievable how clean it is here. And these storms just wash everything down the road, and it's just clean, clean, clean. That's one of the things I really love about Arizona, but I'm supposed to be talking about the bad things. All right. We do get this thing called a haboob. It's not really, I don't know. The word haboob is Arabic for dust storm. And so it is a dust storm. We live in the desert. So it's this ginormous wall of dirt that just comes through. It looks really scary. And if you get caught in it, you just pull over, leave your lights on, and you just wait it out. And and then usually the rains come in afterwards. So at first it's dusty. You got dirt everywhere. Your pool turns to mud. Well, not really. The dirt just goes to the bottom of the pool. Let me tell you, it's a heck of a cleanup. And you might have some pool furniture in your pool. You might have trampolines over at your neighbor's house, or an umbrella that might have flown over a couple of streets over. Trees are the biggest problem during the monsoon because, again, we don't get a lot of storms. So these trees are like this for a whole year. All of a sudden, get some water and wind, and these branches go crack. So that is the biggest storms we have to worry about. And by the way, let me throw this in too. When you go on Redfin, I can't remember if it's Redfin or Zillow. Somebody asked me about this. It has like a hazard rating, and they talk about fire rated and things like that, and floods. We don't get a lot of floods here. If that is a major concern of yours, you're going to want to let us know. We'll let you know exactly where those floodplains are. If you have a loan on your home, you will be required to get flood insurance. But this is not like Louisiana flood from Katrina. It's not like up to here. It is like 3 to 4 inches, just enough to mess up your house bad. And it's so dry. We also don't have the mold development as quickly as in the higher humidity areas. It's still risky. It's still very expensive. It's unhealthy. And again, these are questions that we want to answer. But the probability of that happening while living in Phoenix is like this big. It's just big enough that in some areas they want you to have insurance. But again, you got to give us a call so we can let you know exactly where those areas are. All right, you guys, you're almost to the end. Number 7. Are you ready for it? Safety. Okay, safety, super important. People want to live in a safe community. One of the things I challenge you to do is go to this website and look at crimegrade.org and look up where you live so that you can have a better understanding of what you're coming from. We just had somebody that's coming in from Minneapolis, and they live in one of the safest places, I guess, in the country. And yes, we do have parts of Phoenix that are like that. Not only Queen Creek is a safe place, yes. Gilbert is rated at one time it was the 2nd, I think it's now the 7th safest place in America. Gilbert can be a little expensive, but when you look at crimegrade.org and you type in the zip code of maybe a home that you see online and you want to know if this is a good area, it will show you the general area. Orange means stay away and green means it's good. If it's a shade of green, you're good to go. If you're a shade of orange, be aware. That's all I got to say. We here in the greater Phoenix area do not have a lot of gated communities because we don't have the overall crime rate you do in other parts of the country. So for instance, a lot of people that move here from Florida, apparently every place in Florida is gated. The only people that have gated communities here are going to be townhouse communities, also luxury. And the more expensive, and as I mentioned way back ago earlier in my video, $1 million isn't luxury anymore. You might be able to find $1 million home with a gated community, but just because it's $1 million home, the probability of it being in a gated community is slim to none. New communities, I would say the gated communities are probably closer to 2 million. That's not a hard number there. I happen to know of one that's just opening up, and they do have a spec available for 1.5, and it will be a gated community. But do you see my point? It's not like $400,000 homes are in gated communities, unless it's a 55 plus community. See all the different turns we can make? I'll tell you, here's the thing. There's so many things I want you to be aware of, and there is no place that you can go to for all the answers like this one. So give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or just click on this QR code. It'll also connect you to our website. There's some amazing features of this website. You can go to the map, you can search around and look at different videos. If you want to know more about a specific area, this is going to be the best place for you to search those videos. And this is called No Filter Girl. I tell you like it is. Give us a call. We want to hear from you. I cannot wait. God bless everyone. And if you're thinking of moving to Phoenix, we hope we are on your first thing to do.